I'm Kate Christopher, YSS. I'm a Remember Veterans Link worker. I am also a veteran. I served 7 years in the Royal Army Medical Corps, and I'm also a wife of a veteran, so I've got a bit of background. So the Remember Veterans Service is funded by the Armed Forces Covenant Fund and the West Mercia Police Crime Commissioner. It's an intensive support and mentoring programme to ex-armed forces personnel who are or have been involved in the criminal justice system. And this is provided on a voluntary basis. So there's no pressure, even from probation. It's completely voluntary if they want to engage with us. So who is it for? Anyone who's served 1 day or more in any of the UK armed forces as a regular or as a reservist. Is anyone that's involved with the police, prison, probation service or other criminal justice systems. Lives in Worcestershire, Herefordshire, Shropshire or Telford and Wrekin. So I'm the link worker for Shropshire and Telford and Wrekin, and my colleague Lisa Burnett is down in Worcestershire and Herefordshire. We offer individual support for veterans. As I say, myself as a veteran, and Lisa's also served 22 years as a veteran, and she's a veteran as well. We help applying for sourcing or maintaining accommodation, support around any health concerns, mental health, support around any drugs or alcohol issues. We help with sorting out and budgeting benefits or debt problems, understanding relationship issues, family support and parenting skills, exploring thoughts, feelings and behaviour, assisting with referrals to other specialist military community organisations such as SAFA, the RBL, and any Help for Heroes, and any of the service charities that are out there. Information, advice and guidance around employment and training. So we could refer over to Walking with the Wounded, to Chris Carlisle over there to ask him for some help. So this is a bit of outdated data, but this was published in January 2019, that it was estimated that there was 2.4 million UK Armed Forces veterans in Great Britain, making up an estimated 5% of household residents aged 16 and over. There's a higher population of veterans found in the West Midlands, around 8%. Just a bit of a fact for you. Service culture, just a bit of a background about service culture, is strongly based on its values and standards. Therefore, it's any veteran that's been caught up in the criminal justice system with their values, it is hard for them to ask for help. The service's values and standards demand a degree of commitment, self-sacrifice, which goes beyond that normally expected of any other citizen. A bit about service life, which you will be aware of. Mobile, frequently on deployments, away from home, abroad, resulting in disruption to family life. They're accommodated, they socialise, everything, free healthcare, free medical, free dental, they've got free access to fitness, good pay, high self-esteem, valued member of the community. Life after service, leaving the service is unlike simply changing jobs. It is a wholesale life change in which the service leaver discards more than just employment. They also relinquish their accommodation and the camaraderie of service life. They undergo a radical change in lifestyle. They enter civilian life having to discard the familiar trappings of the services, including the relationship between different ranks and the discipline of an organised and relatively institutionalised. So veterans in the criminal justice system are more likely to be male, white and older on average than those who have not served in the armed forces. They are more likely to have qualifications and experience of secure employment, have similar practical needs like accommodation and financial issues compared to those who have not served in the armed forces, but report lower needs for issues like drug addiction. As I said, referrals, simply a phone call, an email to me, myself. I will share with Thomas my email address, which he's got, and also if you know anybody down in Worcestershire and Herefordshire, I can share Lisa's email address and telephone number as well, just in case you have anybody that you come across that might need that. I just wanted to share with you the importance of asking the question. Asking the question, have you ever been a member of the armed forces is increasingly more important. We need to be aware of how many veterans are out there in the community. We need to be able to identify them to be able to access services. How do we know they're not being disadvantaged if we haven't asked the question? So about improving outcomes for ex-armed service personnel, these things can improve outcomes for ex-armed service personnel in custody and under community supervision. A mental health assessment, access to education and resettlement services if they're entitled to it, access to alcohol misuse services, mentoring services provided by ex-armed forces service personnel charities, and ex-armed forces service personnel respond to and are motivated to engage with armed service specific services and activities and or staff. So what I'm trying to say here is veterans respond to veterans, which we know. And just another little fact for you, veterans or ex-service personnel are 8 times higher to have a gambling addiction than general population. Which makes obviously physical symptoms such as finance, stress, dependency are all involved in that. They suffer with emotional symptoms such as isolation, relationship issues, self-esteem. And why do they gamble? Adrenaline, bored. It's a bit of a forces culture, drinking, gambling, things like that. And yeah, that's about it really. Any questions for me? It's a bit rushed, but it's a bit of an overview. As I say, you're all aware of what YSS do, and just this is a side element to the Remember Veterans project.